Hello, everyone. It's been a while, but we are back with a bigger fight. Once again, I am Matt, joined today by Amarú, Adriano, and Nick, and we are here at a breakneck pace like the certain film we're going to be talking about, and that is The Running Man. First off, how you boys doing today? How you doing, Nick?
I'm doing all right. I wish I liked this movie more and was more excited to talk about it.
Adriano, how are you doing?
Doing good. Also, wish I liked this a little more. And I'm very sad to talk about it.
Rue, how are you doing?
This was my most anticipated film of the second half of the year, and we will see how I feel about it. I'm excited to talk about how I feel about it.
And this wasn't anywhere near my most anticipated list, but I had fun with it. I didn't love it, but I had fun with it. Listen, this film has its issues. Pacing being a large one, and we'll get into that. But we'll start off with Nick, just because you started off first in this. Give us your thoughts on The Running Man.
Look, it's not a bad movie, but it is the antithesis of everything I thought it was going to be. And that's not an expectation thing. It is meant to be an action-packed, exciting film that has obviously deeper commentary on class and things like that. And where it lost me is the action-packed was really generic, for lack of a better term.
Boring.
Like, there was nothing that kept me excited and into this film. And I think that's the biggest thing that hurt it for me. There's many other problems to go through, but yeah, the main thing I left with was, man, I was kind of bored.
I would somewhat agree with you there. I got more excited for seeing familiar faces on screen, like Martin from Please Don't Destroy. When I saw him on Popped, and I'm like, oh, nobody else popped. Yeah. I'm like, but this is one of the most exciting things is seeing this man in this movie.
There's also one scene, an extended scene in this film that I'm sure we'll end up talking about,
yes.
That makes the rest of the film look so much worse because that one scene
is so
about the house better. Scene?
The house scene? You talking about the house?
I'm talking about Michael Cera's. Michael Cera's moment. Michael Cera's scene is what this film should have been. Mm-hmm. And I would have had an absolute blast with it if it was. And it's not. And I think one of the biggest issues in the film was they gave us what it could have been and then didn't give it to us. They were like, hey, it could be this, but actually it's this. And yeah, it kind of just happened. And even now, recollecting it, a lot of it just kind of left me. And I only saw it, a couple days ago, right, Adriano? So
more recently than Rune, I saw it. And with that, I'm going to take it to Rue, who I think is going to be slightly more positive.
Nope. No, I'm not. This movie is fun, and it is also my biggest disappointment of the year. I was really looking forward to this. Glen Powell doing an Arnold remake with Edgar Wright, mixing action and messaging. Perfect fucking team. You are lined up to just knock this out of the park. And I'm actually going to go a different route with why for me. It was the tone. They didn't pick a lane. They couldn't stick with a lane. And that probably led to the pacing issues. That led to some of the action being boring. Like you said it, Nick, the house scene was beautiful. You know what other thing that I really remembered? Two other things that I remember is Colman Domingo. Mm-hmm. I will also add Glen Powell is kind of blameless here because for me, from the beginning, from the first scene, showed me, all right, cool, we are in a B-movie action romp. Let's go. Jason Statham, crank. He's going to be pissed off the whole way. Let's go. And that's what he did the whole way. But for me, they went from, all right, we're going to be real schlocky until we get to the seriousness. And then they got real seriousness, so the B-movie kind of went away. But then with this B-movie, it got real silly and schlocky, so the seriousness didn't make any sense. and it just kept going back and forth and back, and it never stuck anywhere. So, like, on top of those, the only other thing that made a lot of sense was my man Daniel Ezra. I don't know if that's the dude you were talking about. And the revolution will not be televised bits. Those were great. That was amazing. The tone. That's what it should have been. It should have been like high level, bonkers, ball to the wall, match what Glen Powell is doing the entire the time, writing and tone and messaging, and bring people in at least in the second act, not in the third, and then throw them away after that. Miss Emilia Jones or whatever her name is.
Emilia Jones, you had it right.
Yeah, I'm going at it again, not because it is a horrible movie, but it is a movie I don't need to watch again. And I will also say this, and I'll pass it on to Adriano. If I didn't know Edgar Wright's name was on this movie, I would have no idea he would have directed this movie. None. Yeah.
When you say it was your most anticipated movie of the back half, this is my most anticipated movie of the year, period.
You had a countdown. You had a full countdown on Twitter.
Edgar Wright is like my guy. He's one of my absolute favorites.
He's my guy too, but I can also admit my guy is inconsistent.
I don't even agree with it. I've loved every single thing he's made.
I don't know. What I mean by inconsistent is inconsistent within his films. Just they can be very up and down. There's only one I'd say is a straight through fun time, and that's Baby Driver.
I would say all of his movies up until now I've absolutely adored, like completely.
The Cornetto trilogy is 3 for 3, dude.
I didn't say they're bad. I didn't say they're bad. I just said
they're also fun straight through. I don't understand what you're saying, but okay.
I think they're all excellent. Personally, it was my most anticipated movie of the year since the beginning of the year. It's Edgar Wright's my guy, and I straight up watched this movie and said, "Who actually directed it? Like, who actually directed it?" This had more in common with a Russo brothers movie than an Edgar Wright movie. That's an insult, by the way. Now, is it a bad movie? No. It's entertaining. I did have fun with it. I don't even agree that like the movie is tonally all over the place. I think it is consistently like juiced up. Like it is like an intriguing film through and through. My issue is it just feels so much flatter than what you expect from Edgar Wright. Like the freneticism and like the core, like it's there in fragments, but like this, like the freneticism and like almost music video-esque like choreography is just almost completely vacant. And you have this interesting totalitarianism like messaging in there, and then it kind of fumbles at the final mark. I don't know. This movie just, I'm not even like, this is not a bad movie. Like I cannot call it a bad movie by any stretches. It's as much as I compared it to a Russo brothers movie. It's just so uneventful, and maybe I'm mostly saying that because Edgar Wright directed it, and I have higher expectations for how he can at least direct action. This movie just didn't do it for me. I might watch it again in IMAX now that my expectations are tempered. But yeah, it's just like
Did it also feel too long now? Also because of how it felt, because I felt like I was still in that movie. Like, man, this should be a breezing by, and I'm like, I'm still here waiting for more to happen after Michael Cera spoiler is gone.
I wouldn't say it was like, oh my god, when will this end? But I definitely felt this runtime in places.
It wasn't where will it end, but it was like this seems like it's being dragged out a little longer than it needs to be.
There's some fat that could have been trimmed for sure.
I will say, because I wanted to hear where everyone else was, because I did have an opinion coming out of this screening. I don't like Glen Powell in this film. There's something about, it's funny. Rue, I know you're really high on it, but I recently watched Chad Powers, which I don't think is a very good show. I think it has its moments for sure.
Yeah.
But I much preferred him playing that character than I preferred him playing this character. And it very well could have something to do with what you said about the tone being all over, and the tone maybe just not matching him in the right way. But I found I was with him at certain parts, and I was not with him in other parts. I don't think any of the emotional beats that he aimed for landed, and I do put that on him. Not to mention the fact that they gave his wife nothing, to try and set any kind of groundwork for him. But I didn't care about why he was doing it. So when I lose all the emotional attachment to his character, it did just make him kind of a guy who yells and screams and gets amped up. And it's just Glen Powell doing an action Leslie Jones impression of just, I'm going to be loud. And that's my thing. And it didn't work for me in the same way.
I do not disagree don't disagree with you at all. I put it to the writing, though.
Yeah.
I put it to the writing and I put it to the editing. When I say he's blameless in my mind is that he knew what movie he was going to go into. And he said, I'm playing that movie. I'm playing loud and angry the whole time. And again, okay, just want to make sure.
You're good.
When he started that, I keep going back to Glen Powell thinks he's in Crank. Glen Powell thinks he's in something that's not going to get to that like emotional depth. It's going to just continue to go and go and go. And every time I also felt those times was like, this is not hitting me emotionally. The beginning of the movie when he's talking to his wife and he flips on a dime into like caring about that the daughter has the flu. I'm like, that was my first instance. I was like, oh crap. Oh no, this did not transition well into that. And he's still on 10 here.
I'm going to push back on that because that wasn't the first instance that cared about his daughter having the flu. We opened with him, yo, my daughter's fucking sick. We need like...
But it was about him. It was about him having her and saying, if she wasn't here, I'm going to fuck you up. Like that set me up for, okay, we have a B movie going here. We're using this daughter as a B movie plot line
I'm just saying it wasn't the first instance for me where I'm seeing that he's going to go from 0 to 100 because he went 0 from 100 in that moment.
And what I'm saying is he went from 0 to 100 from jump. And the reason at that point, the reason was clear. And I was like, cool, I get this. This writing makes sense. This is like the cop talking to his boss and them yelling at each other just in a slightly different situation. I'm thinking about Last Action Hero where they would play off of that because I'm thinking about Arnold. And I'm like, yes, okay, cool. I know where we're going here. So I care about the daughter. I care about him. And I care about what's going on in a way that's really, really campy. And I'm in for the camp. Let's do this. But they flipped it to try to continue that in then they went softer. Then the writing went down to a more serious level while Glen Powell stayed where he was. And that's when I started to feel like, tones are all over the place here. He's one way. This writing is somewhere else. Please find a way to mesh or I'm going to feel this way the whole movie. And that's kind of where I was the entire time.
I mean, we're going to get into like the spoiler aspect of this, but I think the biggest culprit of that to me is you have this guy doing everything, putting his life on the line for his wife and kids. And when they're supposedly killed in front of him, explained that they're killed in front of him, I felt nothing. I didn't care. I didn't care in the slightest.
I felt
because
his
I just
rage
didn't.
in that moment.
I felt
the rage, but I didn't care that.
Yeah, I didn't care that happened.
But here's the thing.
I believe that he cared, but I think that's I didn't care as a viewer.
I think that's what I think that's what the movie's aiming for. Because here's the thing: if they're trying to make us care, you'd be getting to spend moments of time with them while they're in that safe house. That's not what the movie's about. Like,
yeah,
I can't even say that's an issue because that's not what the movie's about, and it's not how the novel goes either. The novel focuses on Ben. Listen, I said up top, it has pacing issues. I enjoyed it. I think I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 is what I ended up giving it. It's right about there. Glen Powell, I dug. The supporting cast, Colman steals the fucking show.
That dude's having the time of his life.
Katy O'Brian was having a fucking time. The one supporting cast member I wasn't the biggest fan of personally was Josh Brolin. That's just me. I felt like he wasn't a bad performance, but it didn't leave me like, all right, you're someone who I respect or fear. I'm just like, oh, you can just tell you're just a shithead from the beginning, and I want like nothing to do with you. And this is kind of one note going. I
like this like inherent sliminess, like
yes, but that's what saved it. But
Josh Brolin's my second favorite performance in the film.
Mine's Katy. Katy was just having a grand old time.
I would say I really vibe with I vibe with Glen Powell with whatever he does. Honestly, like he just like his charm works on me. I mean, I think even here it worked. But I watched the first episode of Chad Powers, and something I didn't really like it. I loved him.
Yes,
and, yeah, even
which apparently is getting a second season, but that's not what we're talking about. But it's the movie's a mess. My thing is, shit didn't have any teeth. I don't know if you guys have done the research on how the original Stephen King novel ends, and it's not how the first movie ends. And I thought, based off of what we had seen, we were gonna get that ending that has teeth to it. So I'm like, all right, cool. We're not getting this bullshit cop out happy ending. We're getting a statement.
The source material is too bleak for that. Like, I didn't read the book, but from the things I know about it,
neither have I.
It's too bleak for that. But the good guys win type of finale.
Right. Like, and that's why.
And I don't think this movie earned that finale.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting at. I feel like it more so earned the finale that the book gives, and it looked like we were heading there for a solid second, and then we had to jump through the screen. I was like, you motherfuckers, you didn't have the balls to do it, did you? Not at all. And then we get what the finale is. I'm like, so you get the good guys win finale, and this feels unearned as shit.
You gotta do Woke January 6th real quick.
Like, for those who don't know, how the book ends is Ben takes that plane and flies it directly into the network tower, killing everyone, including himself. His daughter and wife were actually murdered. So you gave us that setup, and it could have been a really strong moment. And it was just wasted.
Here's my big issue with that too. The movie was done for me way before any of that even got set up.
Yep.
I don't think anything would have been earned. The big reason about them actually dying might have saved it a little bit, but you said you didn't, Nick, you said you didn't care when you heard about them getting murdered. I knew right away, oh, they're not murdered. This is a lie. I don't care because I know this is a lie, or there's a very good chance this is a lie. And if it isn't, that's a good little turn on it. But again, I don't care at this moment because again, it didn't have teeth before the end.
Yeah.
So getting that ending, I think I would have liked it better with that ending, but I don't think it had teeth even up to then. I rewatched the trailer. The trailer has fucking teeth. The trailer is edited beautifully. I was the trailer compared to what we did in the movie.
Totally different movies.
Totally different movies. Going into and you know what, my agreements and disagreements to different parts of your really go into why I just think this is all over the place. I think Katy O'Brian is wasted. Absolutely wasted in this movie. She could have done so much better, especially with the setup of you get the cop out guy, you get the person who wants to party, and then nothing else. Okay, well, I don't know. I feel like she's in there for 2 seconds, and then you know what's going to happen to her, then she's gone. But then I think Colman does great. I think Daniel Ezra does great. Michael Cera does great. And then, you know what, Josh Brolin? I think he was on the same level Glen Powell was. He knew what movie he was in. He played it to the devilish ability he could, but the writing just did not serve that purpose. There goes Nick. But anyway, the writing did not serve that purpose. So I am agreeing with half of what y'all say and disagreeing with the other half. And it really just cements my opinion that this is the middle of the road film.
So I would agree with a lot of what you said. And it's just one of those things where, and this is what I mean by Edgar Wright just being so up and down in his own films. Because Last Night in Soho is a great example of that. Because Last Night in Soho, I love that film, but I can admit it's got its up and down moments. and I love Shaun of the Dead. To me, it has its up and down moments. I enjoy At World's End more than most people, or The World's End, whatever the fuck it's
That's a
called.
5-star movie in my eyes. Like, I think Edgar is incredible, like truly, and that's kind of where like my more of my disappointment with this movie comes from, because beyond the stylistic, like there's missing something stylistically, kind of like what you said, Matt. Like he pulls his punches a lot, like
which is not something I'm used to out of him.
No, like Shaun of the Dead, like Shaun like watches his mom become a zombie. Like he's like in The World's End, like two of the main guys fucking fully die. Like it's he is not afraid to do some things, and especially for a movie that's adapting something so like tough and in this case relevant, it feels very much like a studio like jumped in, was like, hey, can't go too crazy, you infamously crazy director. It's like, what? It just felt like it's just like a kind of a basic action movie that like a little bit better than most of your basic action ones, because like it's like pretty like competently well made. It's like, where's Edgar? Where'd he go? Like I know a lot of people have issues with Last Night in Soho. That movie is unflinchingly him.
Yep. Like, it's part of the reason why I love it, because it was like I could sit here and like I acknowledge these issues. However, those issues I think help it, in my own opinion.
But the one thing about Running Man that I will say is, I don't know if this is really this is more against Edgar, I guess. Sometimes you'll see something and you'll be like, I don't see that director in there anymore. This isn't a matter of studio interference. I don't feel that here. There is not enough Edgar in this movie that I'm like, oh, they messed it up for him. Like, this feels like just a misfire on his part. Not only does it not feel like an Edgar Wright movie, it also doesn't feel like a Stephen King adaptation.
That I would call that something in its favor, personally. Most outside of a long walk in the first part of it, I don't think we've had many, and Misery, I don't think we've had very many good Stephen King adaptations.
I would counter that. I'd say there's quite a few good ones, but they also have like a feel, and the horror tinge feel that you even kind of get a little bit in the Arnold movie.
Well, I would say that's probably coming from. Well, I would say that's coming from the fact that Stephen King's a very bleak writer in general, but I would also come to say that The Running Man is by no means an action book.
Right.
Like, it's by no means like meant to be action. It so happens that the two we've gotten are action films.
Yep.
Yeah, The Running Man through adaptation should probably be closer to something like Children of Men.
Yeah,
if you were going to adapt the book directly to film, it would be closer to the tone of something like that.
What I will disagree with you, though, is that like when you say that like these are like Edgar casted, I'm like, well, we get the glimpses of Edgar, right? Like that whole Michael Cera sequence in general. It's not like when I saw Superman where I was like, it's flawed, but like these are James Gunn's flaws, not like a boardroom's flaws. This one, I'm like, I feel like everything I know about this director wouldn't do some of the stuff that we see in this movie. Like, kind of like I said in the Michael Cera sequence, it felt like it was setting up for his mom to get absolutely slaughtered in that moment. And it was just like, all right, go hide in the phone. I'm like,
yeah, normally I'd be used to Edgar Wright just giving you a fun death with that mom.
And it didn't happen. And I'm just like, that feels like the studio stepped in a little bit. I'm not saying he wrote her to die, but like,
especially with how much of a how much of a bitch she was being.
Yeah, she was nutty. She was like, that was funny. I will say the movie is funny a lot. I will say,
you devil, you demon.
It's like, holy shit, woman. But yeah, Michael Cera, I had so much fun. Let's talk about that scene, because that's one of the massive positives of this film.
Yeah.
That scene was fucking bonkers. I just hate that they gave away so much of it in the trailer.
What? That's why I don't love trailers. Other than the water gun thing, I'm like, oh wow, these are like, I don't remember any of them from marketing, but I only watched the first trailer. But yeah, like him turning the knob on the stairs just collapsing in on them. Like
I saw the stairs collapsing, and I saw the stairs.
Well, I don't remember it, man.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying. I'm thinking, I'm like, saw the stairs. I saw the water gun.
Yeah, I remember the water gun. Yeah,
and outside of that, there was trying to think that we didn't get the pole. We didn't get the hot. So like, but the two like oh shit moments that you just kind of surprises in it if you hadn't watched the trailer. Those are spoiled for me, and I was like, but the rest of it's so funny and fun. Fuck it, I can live.
Yeah, I would want a little more of that. Like, I like the little flares. Like, there was that one moment, like when he's like going down the building and the letter from the thing falls. He goes like, "Why?" And it's a letter Y.
That's the one that I exactly remember. Him going Y, and I chuckled there. I definitely laughed. 100%. That Cera scene was dope. But again, it's what I remember, and the why is what I remember. After that, I don't remember much. I'm very much wondering why Emilia Jones comes in so damn late in this film.
Like, that's how the source material is too.
They should have adapted it where they should have brought her in, because I thought, where is this connection she's getting from him? I get the whole car scene and her trying to like figure out that she's the problem herself because she was, but it wasn't enough time. Like,
to me, that was
already. What I'm saying is, go ahead, Adriano. Go ahead.
No, you should go.
I was just saying, like, the scene itself, if it would have happened earlier in the movie, almost copy paste, I think it would have believed more, because we got so far deep into him and the other characters and what were already happening. It was kind of just felt like let's just add her on top real quick. And I felt like it would have been more natural if it would have happened earlier, and then you would have given her more to do up until the airplane for her to fully flip on what she was, on those people who are being led astray and believing everything that the media is giving them. Like, that's again so weird. The scene itself, if I take it in a capsule, that's a good scene. Where it's placed feels weird, and then you get so little time in between that and her turn. It's like, man, who edited this? You know who edits Edgar Wright films. I don't know who edited this. I don't know who put this film together.
Yeah, I kind of see where your head's at. Like, it's because like I remember like when she would like that scene in the car when he's like yelling at her, going like, "Oh, you're like, what are you doing?" That's like noble.
I did enjoy that. I did enjoy that he's like, you got 1 minute. You get what your thoughts are before I fucking destroy everything that you believe right here.
Yeah, like finally the moment I was like, oh, finally some teeth, like a little bit of punch.
And still wasn't teeth. Still wasn't teeth.
I think that scene in the car was, but then like, yeah, it's. I kind of see what you're saying, Rue. It's like if they introduced her a little earlier, I would have had a little more of an
connection
effect.
to her.
I see where your head's at, because like the arc. Yeah, I agree. The arc is like 20 minutes long.
Does anybody remember that Lee Pace was in this film?
Yep.
Well, we only see his face for a little less than a minute, so.
Still,
honestly, he did enough for me. I thought he was sick.
I heard the voice, and I was like, I know who that is. And then I remembered, oh yeah, Lee Pace is in the credits. That's Lee Pace.
I didn't pick up on the voice. I literally spent a good portion of that going, where the fuck is Lee Pace? I saw his name in the credits. Where the fuck is this guy? I was like, oh, okay.
He didn't really add much to me.
Nope.
I'm not with Matt. I don't think Katy O'Brian was anything special in this. I think she was actually quite wasted. I said that when we left Adriano. I'm not here to sing the praises of Christy by any means, but I found they gave her more to do in that film than they did in this film.
Even that film, I thought she could have been in it more, but she was.
She could be in everything except for like not as a, but like all the roles outside of what is it? Love Lies Bleeding. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I think she could have a bigger role. She could have a bigger role in Twister. She could have had a bigger role in this. She could have had a bigger role in Christy. I'd like to see her get more run to do, but in the time that they're giving her in these films, she's not blowing me away. They're not giving her enough time to do anything memorable, really.
But you know what? The thing is with Katy O'Brian, for me, I'm saying they could have given her more to do because she was great in the little bit of time that she had.
I wanted more of her character.
But see, that's what I got of her, I loved, and that was the point I was making.
That's the opposite for me. I see Katy O'Brian, I'm like, yes, let's go. Let's see how much they give her. Everything with her here, I think I think the limited time killed it, and the limited writing killed it. Where before the limited time was like, ooh, it boosted her character. I wanted more of her. It did the opposite effect. There's so little of her that, like, you know what? You just could have put anybody in here. You could have put any stock stereotype game show character in this part, and it would have not changed the movie in any way.
There was a third runner, remember?
Yeah, and he was another stock. They literally showed us the stock characters and then made them those stock characters.
He was funny, actually.
He was funny, yes.
He was funny, but he was also like, dude,
bro, man, come on,
bro. That was the cheesiness that I couldn't get behind. That was too I don't
know if that's cheesy. I thought it was just goofy.
Yeah, just a lot of just. It's just trying to. There was nothing to hold on to. Trying to hold on to so much, and every time I'd like took a grab, I just missed and could not find a space to do anything with what they wanted, what they tried to get to us.
And I think the other thing that probably should be mentioned, because we I think we all saw this at mixed press fan screenings, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like not a particularly raucous crowd. Like for the people who were lined up excited to come into this, like it didn't really give you much of a crowd reaction because it didn't warrant any.
Nope.
Yeah, there was like little moments in there where you heard a reaction, especially towards the end with the wife and shit. But otherwise, our audience is pretty. I think muted's the wrong word, but not particularly raucous.
And like we had people dressed up, like there were some real fan people coming to the screening.
He was
there.
He
just didn't. Yeah, Edgar showed up at our screening.
Well, y'all can kiss my black ass.
I didn't know either.
Yeah, we didn't know. It was a genuine surprise.
Again, y'all can kiss my black.
I'm gonna show some love. We mentioned him before, but I'm gonna mention it again. Colman Domingo is one of my two favorite actors out right now, man. Him and David Johnson. You just put them on a screen, and it's just fucking charisma. He knew what he was doing. I'm pretty sure he brought things out of his own wardrobe. They didn't need to dress him. They just said, man, just pick anything out of your closet. It will fit here. Just go ham.
Listen.
That as well. He most definitely probably kept that if it wasn't his.
I will thank you for 4 things. Moving Zendaya's career to a different stratosphere.
Yeah.
Giving us Jacob Elordi.
Yep.
Giving us Hunter Schafer. And then pushing Colman Domingo forward like it did. Because that shit helped move him forward in ways no one saw coming. That is the only I like Euphoria. We have a show for it on my channel. But those are the only things I'll thank that fucking show for. Because holy shit.
I resent that show, but yeah, I do agree. They gave us some great talent.
I understand that show.
And I'm gonna say I was also watching the movies like, okay. Did anybody else think Arnold was gonna show up?
He did on the dollar bill, on the new dollar.
They showed him on the dollar. They mentioned the president and like, oh, maybe Arnold was going to be the president and come up, and they did it. So I was like, let me at least hold on.
I didn't think they were going to, especially when they made it clear early on that the network controls the government. So I was just like, all right, we ain't getting Arnold.
Yeah, I saw some stuff beforehand where I kind of from the way Powell was talking, because the two of them did Expendables 3 together. It sounded like I got his blessing, but it didn't sound like he was going to have anything to do with the project. Yeah, but
I'm saying that to say, like, while watching, I was trying to also say, all right, let me try to pull from nostalgia. Colman Domingo was Richard Dawson today.
Yeah.
Like, I love how he was able to take the Richard Dawson-ness of that role and continue that forward and not make it when it was clear he's not the full antagonist like Dawson was, but making it his own. just being able to shine a light through and bring what, again, we expected from this movie, bring the aura, bring the energy, bring the devilishness. I really, really, Colman doesn't miss, man. He doesn't.
Colman don't.
And this is where I push back against Matt a little when it comes to Josh Brolin. Because to me, Colman, Josh Brolin, and Michael Cera are in the right movie. I did not think that Glen Powell was in that. To a lesser extent, Katy O'Brian, in her very limited screen time, is also in that movie that the others are in. I didn't think Brolin was in that movie. I didn't think Edgar was in that movie, Powell was in that movie. That movie that I got glimmers of was an Edgar Wright movie. And what I got wasn't. And what Glen Powell was playing was just kind of just generic action hero. I like the sliminess of Brolin. I like the over-topness of Colman, and I like the just absurdity of Michael Cera's character and his mom. Those were the fun parts of the film for me, and that's what the film should have been when you're going in that lane. Unless you want to have Glen Powell be super, not just angry, but super serious, and have him take the brunt of like the class issues and stuff like that, and give him this really emotionally affecting story with the daughter, so that the weird characters kind of juxtapose that, and you get this, kind of surreal film. I think that would have worked.
Yeah, I agree.
Instead, what I got those standout side characters, and I got a pretty generic lead following what worked out to be a pretty generic story. And I think that's where the film faltered the most for me.
Yeah. I again don't disagree with any of that. It just goes to show that there were again things you wanted to hold on to, nothing that really stuck, and just all over the place. Where at the end of the day, for me, I'm just like, all the entire 2 hours and 13 minutes or whatever, I was just like, I want it. I want something. And you're not. Damn it. Crap. Yeah. It's just, man, I left just like,
no teeth, pulls its punches. That's what you're describing.
That's what it is. It's a otherwise serviceable action comedy. Like that's just depressingly coming from a director that doesn't do anything serviceable. He's still my guy. Next time he makes a movie, I'm gonna be like, hey, I'm excited. I loved everything you've made up until now. I'm gonna give you another chance. But let's hope next time get some more teeth in there. Get back to what you're good at. Get the editing in there. Get that crazy editing you're known for back in there.
I think
just a hot fuzz, moving away train scene. Where was that? Where was it? Just the way he pours beer in The World's End. It's where is that in this movie? And it's just they're in little teases, and then it's gone.
And I'm really curious to see how the box office for this film does, because I think based on the trailer and the promotion and stuff like that, we've talked about how some of the film criticism views and stuff aren't that high for this film compared to others. But it's if it's not going to get this great word of mouth, and I don't want to say Glen Powell's not a selling point necessarily yet, but I don't think he's a guaranteed one. At least yet. I'm really curious to see how this film does in that sense, because this should have been a great time. I mean, on the press side of things, we screened 4 things this week. And had you asked me which one was going to be last, I never would have guessed it was going to be The Running Man. And it was. And it's so disappointing. And I think a lot of people who see this movie are going to feel disappointed. And I wonder how that's going to affect the box office.
I think audiences might enjoy this one. I don't think they have the expectations that maybe we do.
Listen, and we talked about this a little bit beforehand. Typically, I can tell how a movie's going to do based off of how my own personal reviews or out of theater reactions do. Because if something's going to get business, I normally get views. I'm not getting views. And I know you guys haven't really been getting views here with
Jay Kelly for the win.
Yeah,
let's go, Jay Kelly.
Jay Kelly in dollars.
I think the tracking for this isn't good, if I remember correctly.
Wicked is going to bury the hell out of this.
I mean, that was always going to happen.
But that's the thing, Brew, is those aren't for the same people. Like,
and it's even worse.
Now you see me might make more money.
I was going to say, it's supposed to be a tight race between Now You See Me. Now You See Me made more in previews yesterday. Now You See Me made 2.1 million. Running Man made 1.9. So it is very possible Now You See Me, especially considering that has a legacy in 2 previous sequels that it's built fans off of. Even though the movie series itself, they're just dumb fun. I can admit that they're just dumb fun. And honestly, I put Now You See Me 3 over this. I had so much fun with that fucking movie. Is it perfect?
Yet. No spoilers.
I haven't seen it either.
I'm no fan of those movies, this one included, but I also fully recognize that it has a fan base. So I'm not solely surprised that this is going to probably beat Running Man, which is sad.
Which both are tracking for around a $20 million opening. And I'm going to tell you something. Now You See Me probably is going to recoup its budget a little bit better than Running Man.
Running Man had $110 million budget. 110. 110 for the Running Man.
But that's
and they went hella hard on the marketing. So you're probably looking at realistically like 150 to 170.
I will say Now You See Me ain't so cheap either. It costs $90 million.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Those 20 million, they didn't market it that much. They essentially marketed it based off the fact that, hey, guess who's back? And that's it. Like, they didn't even put out a second fucking trailer for it. Lionsgate has become the cheap theatrical company. So, like, their studio. Jeez, why did I say theatrical? But Lionsgate's just like, yeah, we're going to put it out there and people are going to find it. That's what Lionsgate does. They put more money behind The Long Walk this year than they did.
Somebody made a phone call?
Yeah, that's what I was just wondering. They put more money behind the promotion of The Long Walk than they did Now You See Me.
As they should have.
Yes. But again, that movie has a built-in fan base that has had fans clamoring for another entry, and it impressed execs enough for them to greenlight a 4th film without even seeing. Don't give me that face, Adriano. I'll come to Canada and cut your tongue out.
That's impressive.
Yeah, keep hiding. But they greenlit a 4th film in the series before even this one was released. So that tells you, and Lionsgate is a studio who needs these small wins. So I give them props for recognizing, hey, we got something that can do something for us here. But yeah, I don't think Running Man's going to have that same viability compared to it because, again, you want to know what else Now You See Me has going for it that Running Man doesn't? Now You See Me's a soft PG-13 that you can take your family to and have a good time. This is a R, hard R.
I don't think that's the competition. To me, honestly,
I'm speaking on this weekend specifically.
I think the thing that could really take a chunk out of Running Man is I don't know where it's tracked since it opened, but I think people who have a choice, I think Predator's gonna be the action film people want to go see.
It's gonna be Predator.
Third. Yeah, it's estimated to make around 18 million.
Oh
wow!
That's going to have
under a 50% drop. Wow.
That's going to have the legs that takes out Running Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
think about it. Both Running Man and Now You See Me are tracking for 20 to 25. A movie in its second weekend is tracking for 18 to 20. This could be a really tight 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. And I
don't think audiences will dislike the Running Man per se, but they have to see it first.
But if people are going to the movies and they know someone who's seen both already, and they ask somebody, hey, what did you think? And they say, I thought Predator was more fun. What do you think they're going to see? And also, again, what does Predator have going for it? It is PG-13 compared to Running Man being R, so you can still get away with taking some younger audience to it.
1 second.
1 hour later.
With that, you can find these beautiful men right here on the Bitesize Breakdown website. You can find Rue and Nick on here on A Bigger Bite regularly with myself. You can find me on my own personal YouTube channel as well as here on A Bigger Bite. My YouTube channel being Watt Real Entertainment. But Rue, before we go, tell us about your latest article over on Bitesize Breakdown.
As a teacher, a daily mantra every day. FTK. It's for the kids. The For the Kids Awards. It's my favorite and not favorite at all children in movie history. It's not many because there's so many, but go check it out. It's a favorite of mine's. I was made to write this article, and you'll have some fun with it. I promise you, especially you Dewey Cox fans.
All right, with that, signing off, I am Matt, that is Nick, that is Adriano, and that is Rue, and this was another Bigger Bite. We'll see you next time.